can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. See clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright, bright, bright rest of my life. I can see all the obstacles in my way. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Gonna be a bright, bright rest of my life. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Say hello once you get on. Just love to see who's on here today. So Kevin is here. He arrived, he got here yesterday. So that's really, really cool. All right, so we've got everyone here. So if you're sitting where you are, because I did see a lot of comments, and I was noticing that if you're sitting here and you're like, oh my gosh, there's like all these happy people doing all this great stuff, and I'm feeling something different. And you might be feeling more on the negative side, like frustration. Maybe you're feeling some anxiety. Maybe you're not feeling very good, and you might start to think something is wrong with you or your experience. The answer is no. Nothing is wrong. Actually, I think there's something wrong if you're not feeling any of those emotions. Because remember, a breakthrough means you're about to enter something unfamiliar. If it's unfamiliar to you, it's not going to feel good. So for those of the people that are staying in the familiar area, they're going to not experience what you're going through. So whenever I see someone not feeling very good and they're speaking openly about it, I'm noticing a person that's actually breaking through, which is very powerful. Also, I want to say that you have two people living inside of you. And you might be like, what? Um, and today we're going to talk about that. You have, remember the paradigm we spoke about yesterday, the ego, and you also have your authentic self, the true self. But right now, your paradigm is controlling your ship. So I want you to picture a big ship, and your paradigm, your ego is controlling that. So no matter how much it sabotages you, your ego is controlling the ship. And the reason why you allow it is because it's familiar to you. But now I'm encouraging your authentic self. This is what we're doing, Kevin and I, with this 5-day workshop, is we're encouraging your authentic self to come out and play. We're encouraging that part of you to come out and start speaking, start showing itself. So that's your higher self. It's what has led you here. And now your authentic self is putting up a fight for you to see that you need to live your authentic life. And that's unfamiliar to you. And your ego is fighting to hold you back because you're about to see, like, ego paradigm, that is what it was designed to do. It's protecting you. It's holding you back. All while the heart of you is like, no, we want to live. We want to live our best life. We want to go this way, not that way. So that won't feel good if there's a war between the two going on inside of you. And it never feels good. It never feels good during the breakthrough. So, because it's unfamiliar to you. But unfamiliar is what gets you to the next level of life. That's what you need in order to grow. I want you to think back of every time you've reached that next level of growth. It didn't feel good. It was probably a tipping point where you're like, enough. And then next thing you know, your life changed. So this is what this is about, but it's all an inside job. So what I'm teaching you and Kevin's teaching you are things that are really, really helpful. And actually the most effective things that you can do to navigate your internal terrain. And that internal terrain, that internal, that thing that's going on inside of you can only be navigated when the dark side of your paradigm shows up. So when you see the dark side, it's okay. And your dark side might not want to participate this way, but you know yourself best. But what I would suggest is if you can take this opportunity to lean in, not from a place of judgment and criticism, that's what we constantly are doing, but understanding and education. And that's why we're sharing with you this education. And then you're going to experience the light. So I also want to say that there are 2 requirements for change, because I know a lot of people are looking for change, and there's 2 requirements, just 2 though. And one is desire. One is desire, and the other one is willingness. And sometimes we come into a position where we actually feel like we're just not willing. And so what I wanted to share with you to take the weight off your shoulders is that everything has to do with timing, as well as for the willingness to be available. And so when I'm sharing with you is, and so what I'm sharing with you are facts. These are steps. These are very great steps. These are activities, right, that have helped a lot of people. But you might have a different approach. and it's okay. So what I'm sharing with you is what I like to refer to is you're wearing a new outfit. That's actually the best way to explain it. So you're wearing a new outfit, and maybe you've got a personal stylist and they're putting you on new clothes that you like, but maybe you're not used to wearing the new clothes. Maybe it's like you like it, but you're like, eh. So what I'm doing with you is uncomfortable because it's a bit like trying a new outfit. So the thing I want you to remind you is just try on the outfit, right? You're doing the exercises, you're showing up here, you're just trying it on. If it feels really good at the end, you'll probably want to keep wearing the outfit. And you'll want to start to adapt to this way of thinking. And if it doesn't really feel good, then you can take it back. Right? I just want you to know that one isn't right or wrong, and one isn't better or worse. All I'm doing and Kevin's doing is showing you another way to experience the things that have been holding you back. So that have been holding you back from going forward. So try on the new outfit, no pressure, and see how it fits, right? So we're going to do another draw today. And I'm going to bring, hopefully, Kevin. Are you, here, I'm going to promote Kevin here to the panelist. Hello. Hey, Kevin, are you there? Okay.
How you doing?
Good, yourself?
We had quite the list. Can you hear me?
Yeah, did you?
I am here.
Uh,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Were you able to put everybody?
Fantastic. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome.
I am glad to be here.
Do you have the list of people, or do you need more time for the draw? Because that's what we're going to do right now, is the draw. You need more?
Oh no, I've got the list and I have them in my. I know you guys might laugh at me, but yeah, you guys might laugh at me.
Why?
I have my I have my thermal shirt on. I've got the names here of all the people
In your toque?
that were ready to go. So I just dropped one of them. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so what we're giving away is a $100.
Hold on just a second. I'm going to turn this virtual background off. You guys can see my green screen here. And
we're giving away a $150 gift certificate at Amazon. Amazon gift certificate.
all right, so I'm going to go ahead and draw, Natalie. I know I can hear you talking upstairs and I can hear the delayed.
I know. I know.
$150.
Okay.
All right. And
So who's going to win the $150 gift certificate? Amazon gift certificate.
can you guys see this one?
Kersha.
Kersha,
Awesome.
I think it's Fenimore.
Yeah.
Kersha Fenimore is our winner.
Awesome. Can you, Kersha, if you can send a message to your success advisor and give them the details so that way we are able to send you that gift certificate. Congratulations. That's so awesome. So cool. All right. So today we're going to talk about intuition and food freedom. And the thing that blocks people from connecting to their intuition is fear. So we're actually going to talk about fear. So ask yourself, how different would life be if you were fearless? Kevin, I'm going to put.
You muted yourself. Can't hear you.
Okay.
There
I'm
you
trying to mute you because there's a,
Me.
yeah, if you can mute yourself, because I'm hearing like the background. Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. So what we're going to talk about today is intuition and food freedom. And the thing that blocks people from connecting to their intuition is fear. So we're actually going to talk about fear. Ask yourself, how different would your life be if you were fearless? And like, if you can answer that, what would life be like if you were fearless? Does anybody want to share? Because I used to be afraid of everything, like badly afraid. I took driver's ed not once, twice, because I was afraid of driving. I was afraid of swimming. I learned those patterns from my upbringing. And that is still living, uh, my family that's still living a very fearful life, by the way. But I choose to unlearn fear, and I did. And we can unlearn fears, and when we understand the education. So I want to share with you how it's done. So, and I also want to talk about food freedom. So what we have combined here is powerful nutrition knowledge, Reiki energy healing, and permanent behavioral change. So together, it took me a lifetime. And people say, like, it really took me a lifetime to learn what I'm sharing with you today, because I've experienced it all, from struggling with eating disorders to yo-yo diets, to being over 200 pounds after my pregnancies, to even achieving top 3 on world stage as a professional fitness athlete over the age of 40, and everything in between. And I was living in a body that made it to the top 40 bodies over 40 years old in Canada. So it was in the top 40 over 40. But I was still struggling with food addiction. It was so crazy. Becoming an athlete actually made my food addiction even worse. And it was probably the reason why I became one, but we'll keep that story for another one, or another day. But I was depriving myself, so I wanted the foods more. So I have lived it all, from the bottom of the mountain, if you think about it, struggling with weight loss and health issues and binge eating and yo-yo diets, to working with some of the best fitness experts, best nutritional scientists, mindset, spiritual coaches around the world, and all to achieve only what 1% of the population has achieved in the fitness industry. And now I'm living in a 20-year-old body with ease. And I want to share you how it's done, because I grew up, anybody that knows me knows I grew up in an environment with a lot of bad eating, like horrible bad eating. And I didn't achieve this by following the masses, doing fad diets, looking at the masses. And look at the masses. Where are they going with their health and fitness? You really don't want to follow the masses. Very few understand that mindset is what they want, not a keto diet. And when people say, well, what's the best diet, Natalie? I'm like, the mindset diet. That's the only one. It's the only one that works. And it's the only one that 5% of the population is actually going after. The rest of it are too busy. What's the next fad diet? And I want you to think about it. We're going to talk more about it. Let's get into the fear, because a lot of you don't want to let go of food because you fear as well. So day one, we started to make room for what we wanted, right? So that when we're with Kevin and I, on day one, you started making room for what you wanted. You started realizing what's at the forefront of your mind, which was a lot of negativity, and we're going to release it, and we want to make room for what we want. Day two, we spoke about what we want, and started connecting and pondering about the fantasy, pondering about what your heart really wants, and how you want to create, what you want to create in life. And now I want to talk about the strength, because you need strength now, and to not give up on yourself and quit, because that's what most of them happens, right? Because that's what fear does to us, especially during times when you're surrounded by more fear, more pain, more doubt, more uncertainty than ever before. And what is that strength that you need, you think? What is the strength? What is it that will help you overcome that fear, help you become fearless? The opposite of fear is faith. See, and I love this saying is both fear and faith require you to believe in something you cannot see. And every day you get to choose. So you either choose to have faith in knowing and have faith in a knowing that you cannot see and create the life that you want to make your dreams a reality, or you have faith in fear. So when we were little, we didn't fear like we do right now. I want you to remember when you were little. Have you ever asked yourself what happened? When did fear go from something that we face and enjoy doing when we're little? Because all of you enjoyed walking the unknown when you were little, right? You would use the power of your imagination to work with you, not against you, like Kevin was explaining yesterday. You were excited about getting out of bed every morning because you were connected to new adventures. And now, fear is something that suddenly stops you in your tracks and keeps you exactly where you are, forcing you to live the same day, same week, same month, same year. And we are not built that way. Remember, we were talking about that yesterday. It goes against human nature. So ask yourself that. What happened, do you think? What do you think happened? So yesterday, remember, we were talking about paradigms. Society taught you how to fear. Remember, as children, we would say the truth. If we felt it, we would say it. We would walk in a room and just be. Remember that? We just be. And people would just gravitate around us. I love those people like that you'll see in a room. I want you to notice the people that walk in a room, they own the room. They're just being, right? They're not trying to fit. And as children, you know, everyone would revolve around us. Oh, look how cute you are. And then we got to a point in our lives when it wasn't cute anymore, right? Your parents were like, stop saying that. What will they think of us? Don't say that. You should care what people think about you. Don't do that. You'll get hurt. Live your life this way so you don't risk anything. You're just risking your whole future, but that's okay. Remember hearing these sort of examples? Maybe your examples were different. If your examples were different, please share. We want to hear examples. And remember, when you're sharing, you're helping other people to connect and click. So share with us what your examples were. But I guarantee you, growing up, you gravitated towards doing a certain thing, and then you were told that that was not right. So I'm going to be totally honest with you. And it may be really hard to realize or to hear this, but if you're allowing fear to impact you, you are making that decision to allow it. You have decided that fear of the unknown is greater than your desire for success, your desire for more. Would you not agree? And you might think, well, hold on, there's less opportunities out there. There's a lot of pain out there. There's more people ill. There's a reason for me to be stressed and to fear. I'm not choosing this. I'm not the one choosing this. But here's the truth. There's a lot of good happening right now. There are more opportunities than ever before. Because the majority are only seeing the bad right now. Because the majority are only doing the same things. or the media is steering a lot of people in the same direction. But they know that what's at the forefront of your mind is negativity. So they know that by putting the negativity, you're going to want to watch it. Remember, your mind is drawn to what you're focused on. And that's where the majority of the population is. But you can choose to go in the opposite direction from the masses. The most successful people don't follow the masses. They go the opposite way from the masses. They really do. I want you to notice that. They're not watching the news. We are in, I mastermind with some really, really wealthy people. They do not watch the news. Most of the population are choosing every day fear or aversion of fear over the potential of massive success in any area of their life. And that will not feel good. Remember yesterday I was talking about we are goal-seeking creatures. If we are not creating and growing, we're dying. And if you don't feel good, what will you do? If you don't feel good, what will you do? Eat, drink, become promiscuous, drugs, smoke, workaholic. However we need to do, we'll do whatever we need to distract ourselves. And COVID, the reality with COVID, why people are feeling worse, it's not because of COVID, is that COVID has removed a lot of distractions in our lives, has forced us to remove a lot of the things that we normally use as distractions, and like the traveling and all that other stuff. So now we're connected, we're starting to feel our ego, we're starting to see what's living inside of us, and we don't want to see it. But guess what? What if I told you that emotion is a beautiful thing, and that emotion is not bad? And that emotion, once you connect to that emotion, it's going to free you. And you're going to start connecting to why you're here and your purpose, and everything in your life will change. But a lot of people are afraid of it. They're really afraid of it. And again, it's from our childhood. We've been brought up to be afraid of that, which is it's too bad. It's really when again with education, you're like, why am I afraid of this? Right? And you start seeing that it's a whole illusion. It's not the truth. And when I look out there, there's so much potential out there in so many people. There's so many gifted people. You're all gifted. There's no such thing as someone's born and not gifted. That's a lie. What's the truth is that they're not connected to their gifts. They're connected to what society is telling them what to do. And so all of that wasted because of fear of, I'm not educated enough, I'm not good looking enough, I'm not experienced enough, I'm not the right age, I don't have money. Or how many are saying this world is messed up? The world is getting worse. People are getting more sick. All that is not truth. Those are stories. That is not facts. Those are stories. And they're all stemming from a place of fear. And it's stopping people from achieving more. So I'm going to talk about faith because faith is really important. Faith is something we have to learn. We're not born with faith. We are either taught to fear or to have faith. But most of us were taught to fear more than to have faith in ourselves. Question ourselves more than to have faith in ourselves. So for me, faith was not something that was in my life prior to being in this material. And on some level, I used to think faith was like religious beliefs, right? So somebody would start talking about faith and I'd be like, okay, I don't need you to talk to me about religion. It's like, because I lacked a lot of spirituality in my life. So when I'd hear this material, I would make assumptions and think it was religious. And this is not what this is about. What I'm talking about here is about having faith, having this knowing of something, believing in something that you cannot see. And that's not about religion. When we talk about believing in something we cannot see, we automatically attach that to a religion or some sort. But that's not what we're talking about here. It's about attaching ourselves and believing in a future that our heart is longing to live. So I would say that if you are fearing the possibility of something that you cannot see, you have faith in a fear. And you're using faith against you. How many keep saying that their intuition is telling them not to do things, not to go here, not to go there, stay where you are? Is that really your intuition? We weren't born negative. All of that is negative. Your intuition doesn't steer you towards anything negative. What that is fear that has control over your mind, right? So ask yourself, did that person place their faith in fear? Would you not agree that this person is using faith against themselves, using their imagination against themselves? So many times we worry and we're going to get sick. We worry that we're going to gain weight. We worry that we're going to fail. We worry we're going to lose out. We worry we won't have enough money. We worry that our spouse is going to leave us. We worry that we might end up alone our whole lives. And so we then create this faith that those things are going to happen. So remember, on day one, you're holding at the forefront of your mind what? So you are guaranteed to create more of that in your life. And I love this quote from Napoleon Hill, if you all can write it down. To worry is to pray for what you do not want. To worry is to pray for what you don't want. What you want to do is you want to create faith in the things that you want to see, the things that you want in your life. We want faith in so many things right now. Like, we have faith in so many things right now. Like, I have faith that if I order something from Amazon, I know that these items will arrive to my house, right? I have faith that if I contact an Uber right now and get him to take me somewhere, he would drop me off where I asked him to take me. I have faith that gravity works and that I'm not going to float up in the sky. We have faith in a lot of things that we cannot see, right? We do. So why not have faith in the things that we cannot see right now about living our greatest life? Why use our imagination towards thinking about the things that we don't want? But we need to live by faith when it comes to the things we want in life, because faith is an absolute knowing. Faith is the belief that you have the power to do all things. Do you have faith that you have the power of doing all things? I guess that's the question. Because the thing that you're going to have to work on is your faith. You don't need to change yourself. You don't need to be any different. Other than the paradigm, obviously, but that's not you. You just need to believe that you can achieve it, that you can have it, that it's within you. And to make this happen for me, I needed a program to teach me how. I grew up in an environment that taught me more about fear. Like, I feared everything, but I needed to unlearn that. I had to unlearn and relearn. And Alvin Toffler is an amazing philosopher. And his quote is, "The illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write. It will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn." And that's what I did. I unlearned my fears of giving up certain foods. I unlearned my fear of going after what my heart really wanted. I unlearned my fear of falling in love. I unlearned a lot of the crap that was planted in my head. All those things that were limiting me, making me feel stupid, making me feel like I wasn't good enough, making me feel like some days it's pretty bad. And then I learned how to have faith and how the most successful people have mastered faith. And I keep, the thing that I study is keep studying how to have deeper faith and go deeper and deeper and deeper. I want to believe like the sun is going down tonight, believe in my dreams. And I want you all to do that as well, because that's the way to create any life you want. So now I want you to think about what your life would be like if you were fearless. Like, I love that word, like fearless. What would it be like to be fearless? Right? Wow, fearless. Like, put it in the comments. I want to see. What would it be like if you weren't scared? If you didn't fear anything? That'd be pretty awesome, right? I love that. Right? So here, I'm going to check the comments here. Here, we got comments. And check the chat here. More adventurous, yes, exactly. Absolutely. Yes, it would be totally true freedom. It would be amazing. It would be out of this world. And think of the things you would do, because I'm right. The reason why you're not doing the thing that you're constantly desiring to do is why. So if that wasn't there blocking you anymore, what do you think you could do? Well, I know, because I went from 6 years ago not being able to speak up in a boardroom because my ideas they're never good enough. What's the point? I went from that to now doing what I'm doing now. And even just 2 years ago, Kevin would tell you that I even was afraid to show up just live and just saying hi to people live, just so you know. That's how dramatic my change has been in just 2 years. So when we look back on 6 years ago, how massive my change has been. So yes, you can unlearn fear. I promise you that. So now we're going to talk about food freedom. And I wanted to start talking about fear because a lot of people fear what? Giving up the lifestyle of eating, right? Giving up foods. And it's really, they have a fear of that. So I'm going to start here. And I'm going to start asking you, because people are always asking me, what's the best diet, Natalie? Is it keto, intermittent fasting, high carb, low fat, all these different diets? What should I eat and what exercises should I do? And my answer is this. the reason why you gained the weight in the first place, the reason why you're struggling with the food, the reason why you are where you are with your health and fitness, is because it's not about what you eat. It's about what is eating you up inside. So my question is to you, are you willing to connect, surface, heal the very inner patterns that have caused you to feel a certain way around food, that have caused you to be addicted to certain foods? Are you willing to change your current beliefs about what it takes to really transform your body? Or is fear forcing you to keep making the same mistakes with your health and fitness over and over again? Because only even less than 5% of the population has mastered this. 95% of the population is following the masses. And I need you to see that in the 70s, there were barely anybody that had type 2 diabetes. Now we're at 380 million cases around the world and climbing. And that's only one disease. That's not including all the others. So are you going to continue to follow the masses? Or are you going to do what the smaller part of the population is doing? Because it's an inside job. It's all mindset. And I'll explain how even a person that has convinced themselves that they're living large by eating whatever they want, they're not in control at all. It appears like they are. They become really good at convincing themselves that they're living the life because they can eat whatever they want, but they are not in control. Everyone is focused on new tactics and strategies and new fad diets. And I'll tell you, the right strategy for you is important, right? But only after you shifted your mindset. And I've got hundreds of strategies. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, right? I didn't work with the top people for no reason, but it's definitely not going to work if the mindset work is not done first. It's impossible. And it's definitely important to work with someone that understands the science of the body, because there is a science of the body. But what people fail to understand is that your body, it's an instrument of your mind. Your mind controls your body. What's at the forefront of your mind controls your body. It controls how you go into action. It controls your motivation. It controls your decisions. So you can have the best strategy in front of you, but you will not succeed, or you might lose the weight and put it all back. Because that strategy to get rid of the weight permanently, you have to change what's going on inside of you. Change what is causing you to want to hold on to the food at the forefront of your mind. Because a lot of you is like, I don't want to give it up. Because if you don't change that, you will continue to struggle with certain eating patterns. It's all psychological. And you don't really actually want the food, by the way. We've got that mixed up when we were young. So just so you know, we'll go into that. I don't want to skip that part, but let's stick with the diet first. So in case you haven't noticed, diets don't work, right? I don't know if you know this, but there's a 98% failure rate attached to diets. And that's what mainstream is all about. It's why the weight loss industry is an $80 billion industry. Of course they're $80 billion. Can you imagine that industry? It's a 98% failure rate. It's a guaranteed, come out with a new fad diet, everybody will be on it. 7% of people achieve their weight loss. And then out of the 7%, so only 7% achieve the weight loss. And then out of the 7%, 90% gain the weight back and more. They always end up gaining more. So you don't fail diets. Diets fail you. Diets don't work. Think about it. When you are told to not eat something, what happens? Can you imagine if I told you, don't scratch your head? Don't scratch your head. The moment you heard those words, what would you do? Scratch your head. Imagine telling a child, don't touch that. You know how that happens, right? Don't touch it. Don't touch it. They're going to touch it, right? Well, these diets are telling you to not eat certain foods. That's why it's never going to work. Restricting what you eat is not the answer. Restricting how you think about food is the answer. Restricting what you're placing at the forefront of your mind is the answer. And if you have to get on a diet, then please get on the mindset diet. Started saying that, was it 2 weeks ago? I think with my group, it just came out. Do the mindset diet. Because the way you feel about food right now, don't you see that it has to change in order to get what you want? You can't keep feeling the same way about food and then think you'll have the health and body you want. Like, I need to look at the war that's going on in your head. And I really want to show you that you can change how you currently feel about food. You can change how you currently feel about food. You can change that. I was addicted to oh my God, I get so excited about going out and eating foods. Trust me, anybody that knew my old self, food, I get so friggin' excited. I was so attached to it. That's why I'm good at what I do, because if I could detach myself from food, my God, I can detach anybody from food. But we must stay connected to facts. Remember on day one? Let's stay connected to the facts and build upon the facts, not stories. There's a lot of stories in the fitness industry. A lot of stories. Oh my God. And the fact is, you will create in life whatever is at the forefront of your mind. It's the only way to get the body you want, because right now, what's at the forefront of your mind is what? Maybe share what's at the when it comes to food, what's at the forefront of your mind? I love food. I'm addicted to chocolate. I'm not truly living life, Natalie, if I'm not eating these foods. So when you do a mindset diet, you're basically changing what's at the forefront of your mind. That's what you're doing. You're changing it with what you really want. And what you really want is not the food. What you really want is the emotion behind the food. What you really want is the reason why you're eating the food, because you're not living the life your heart and soul wants to live. That's why you're attached to the food. I was so addicted to foods myself, French Canadian, Northern Ontario cuisine. I mean, the most unhealthy eating habits you can imagine. So yes, at the age of 38, when I was sitting in my car and had a meltdown with a list of prescriptions of 5 different things and my thyroid being at a level 9, and I was like, I told myself I would never live the life like my parents. What is going on? And I'm 38, so can you imagine where I'd be today if I would have stayed there? So yes, diseases and illnesses are guaranteed, but not because of your genetics. Not because of genetics. It wasn't because of genetics, because if it was because of genetics, I'd still be living with worse prescriptions. It's not the genetics we inherit, it's the bad habits. I had bad habits. You can't eat horribly and think you'll live like J-Lo. and look like J-Lo. Or live until you're 100 dancing and loving life. You won't. And so here, like, you know what? I like this definition about diet. Diet is a temporary change to you. That's the definition. So a temporary change to your everyday life in order to achieve a short-term goal so that you can rebound and put the weight back on. I want you to think about that. Is that what you want? You know, when people tell me, Natalie, keto works, I lost 30 pounds, and I look at them and I'm like, and you put it back on. And they get angry, and I'm like, but let's connect to the truth. It didn't work. Because if it did work, you'd still be living with the results right now. Right? Let's connect to the facts, not the stories. Or else you're going to keep living a story and keep looking for stories. Who wants to live on a keto diet where you're never going to eat carbs again? Like, come on. Right? Like, again, don't touch your head. Don't touch your head. Right? Or you can do what a lot of fitness people do. So there's an industry, just and understand that I can speak about fitness people and athletes the way I'm about to because I lived it and I saw it. So I can speak it because it lived inside of me too. But a lot of the fitness people, they struggle with foods, by the way, secretly. Did you know that the majority of the bodybuilders and fitness athletes struggle deeply with food issues? That's why they're talking to you about willpower. You need to have willpower. You better work really, really hard because they're struggling themselves. And here's the truth about willpower. Willpower follows desire. And if at the forefront of your mind is, I love chocolate, I'm addicted to sugar, well, then you're starting a diet. And yes, at first your desire is to lose the weight. So your willpower will work with you. And at first, because again, willpower follows desire. So it will work with you, but then something happens, let's say in the office, and now your desire is to fix what's going on, or something happens at home, and now your desire is to fix or take care of whatever's happening in your life. So, plus you're holding at the forefront of your mind, I'm addicted to chocolate. So you're thinking about the chocolate all while you're frustrated with fixing the things that are happening around you, because now that's your desire. And eventually you can't help it. You're eating the chocolate. And then they're telling you don't have enough willpower. That's like, there's so much more, a lot more deeper than that, but just so much I can share today. But understand that willpower follows desire. So if an athlete or a fitness person is very, very, very obsessed with vanity, their desire and willpower is connected to that desire. But you don't want to live a life obsessed with your body. You want to live a life, a different life. So it's working for them if you want to just look at the outside. But the only thing that's true is what's living inside of you. And that's the truth, whatever it is that you want, whatever life you want. But when we're talking about willpower, willpower follows desire. So to change how you feel about food is to change your desire that is currently connected to food. It's to desire, looking amazing and leaner and healthier, desire to live your best life. It's a desire to live your best love life. It's a desire to, not wanting to reach out in the medicine cabinet and talk about diseases and illnesses all day end up being in that category of people later down the road, which a big majority, it's almost become their lifestyle. You have to ask yourself, is that the mindset you want? Because that's where you're going to go. And another thing I want to talk about when we're talking about health, fitness athletes and people out there. So when you hear things like it takes hard work, blood, sweat, and tears to succeed, what comes to your mind? Do you think that's true or false? That you have to work hard to get what you want? A lot of blood, sweat, tears. What comes to your mind? Right? Well, I'll tell you, it's wrong. Like, do you remember your parents and grandparents or like an authority figure in your life and they're telling you, you need to work harder and make sacrifices in order to get anywhere in life? You better roll up your sleeves. Just get on with it, because that's the only way you're going to make anything happen in your life. And I see it all the time, and they're claiming to be, and I see a lot of them out there, and they're saying this is mindset. Work hard. Like, working hard is not mindset. It's your limited belief. That's why we have a big part of the population that are human doings like I was, constantly going out there, go, 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 go. Work, 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 work. Working out, going to work, work. You know, when you get to a point where your daughters are like, what does mommy love to do? Work. What's her favorite thing to, like, I couldn't believe it when I saw these questions that they answered about me, and I was like, no, that's not, yeah. So there's a big part of the population that are like that. They're the go, 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 bust through it, make anything happen in life. And then there's the other part of the population that are looking at those killing themselves, working hard, and they stand back and they're like, wait, I'm not living life like that. If I need to kill myself to look like you, forget it. If I have to live life like that, you know, and work that hard to live your life of luxury, forget it. I don't want it. Well, I'm here to show you that you can live any life you want in any body you want, a lot easier than you think. But you got to be willing to change the thinking part, right? You have to be willing to change your current emotions around food. So that's the mindset out there, that if you don't work hard, no results, right? And when you think of starting a weight loss routine again, it's like, oh, who wants to work hard like that? And you look at these athletes and fitness people and you think, oh my God, well, they look like that because they work so hard. And that's a lie, because if anybody really saw how hard I work, but that's their jam. That's not my jam. My jam is to live my purpose. My jam is to look good doing it. My jam is to, you know, live my best love life. My jam is a this and this and this and this world. Not obsessing over one thing. So what I'm trying to get you all, because a lot of you think about it. How often do you not want to start something in health and fitness? Or a lot of you have given up because you're like, if that's how I have to operate, then I don't want to go there. So I'm all about helping you see that the most successful people on the planet, they work on their mindset. They're not working harder. They're working smarter. Okay, so let's talk about the inner dialogue, because that is part of the homework. So as Dr. Wayne Dyer explained, there are two people living inside of you. So the first one is your ego, your paradigm, which often leads you to a stressful life. And the second one is your peaceful, authentic self, right? It's the real you. So there's two. So without realizing it, you constantly have like this inner battle going on, right? With making decisions. Did you notice that? Like one ego will tell you like, eat the chip. And it's always sabotaging your goals all the time. And then you'll have the other voice, the true self, that's like, wants to live a bigger, better, healthier life. But the majority have been taught to fear it. They have been taught to fear their own freedom. So I'm going to explain like authentic self. This is your higher self. This is like what Kevin keeps saying. Kevin will say heart of heart. When you were born, you were perfection. You look at a baby, you don't say, oh, they're so imperfect, right? No, you were born in perfection. You were not born with shame, doubt, insecurities, fear. You were born with a perfect mindset, by the way. These thoughts were planted in you as a child, right? These fears and doubts and insecurities. So as a child, you gravitated towards certain things naturally. You were already connected through intuition in a perfect way. And everything flows to you when you're living from your authentic self, by the way. You're fearing the very thing that will make your life so freaking easier. Because decisions from the authentic self is the most powerful. It pulls you, it's what pulls you in a larger dimension of yourself. And your future success depends on you listening to that voice. And every time you walk towards what you love, what your heart wants, you are connected closer and closer to who you are. Most of your day, you are really doing what you love when you're following your heart. But right now, most of you are doing what's expected of you. You're doing what you have to do. That's following your ego. So the ego is the lower self, is the paradigm. It's the person you've come to believe you are. And Wayne Dyer explains it this way. Ego speaks this way. Who I am is what I have and what I do and how I look and what others think of me. And ego prevents you from living from your authentic self. That's why it was created, right? All these ideas, thoughts, all that can't live in the authentic part of you, doesn't belong there. So your mind had to create. So ego is formed while growing up. If you have lived if you would have lived in an entirely different environment, I need you to think about that. If you would have been brought up in a different home, you would not have the same ego. Your ego would be completely different. So the ego that you're holding on to right now, that you're saying it's you, is your false self. But most people live from this place, and that's why they feel stuck, discontent, longing, all those feelings that are not good, feelings of the things that they say like, oh, I love foods. I love these types of foods. No, if you would have grew up, if you would have been raised in a family where you ate extremely healthy, that would have been your paradigm. And it would have made it a lot easier for you today. But that's the reality. So it's not the true you. The you that says, I'm addicted to foods, it's not you. Do you see what I mean? So now that you understand the two voices that are going on, pay very close attention to the inner dialogue that's happening around food. All the decisions you're making daily. Pay attention to how one voice is sabotaging you and forcing you to live from your lower self. And then pay attention to the second voice that is working hard to pull you towards your higher self. And when you understand this, your inner self talk becomes quite empowered. And I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs, and I'll tell you that the most successful ones, they understand their self-talk. And they know which voice to listen to. Because your higher self always knows the way. Yeah. So the very voice that you're afraid of, the very voice that's saying, hey, let's take a chance. And it's not really a chance, by the way. You're risking not going that way, by the way. But again, it's your perception of it. But your higher self already knows and always knows the right decision. And if you could learn that, I promise you, you'll end up being the person that you admire, like the people you admire right now that are like, God, it seems like everything works out perfectly for them. But see, we've been taught, I was taught too, to fear that voice. The very voice that is going to set me free, I feared. So on page 24, that's going to be your homework. You're going to be completing your inner dialogue as homework. And it's important to start paying attention to your inner dialogue around food or other things that you've been filling your voids with. And I normally go into inner dialogues, but not today. I want to talk more around the mindset that is truly forcing people to keep following the masses towards the worst health in history. Look around. Because it's important for you to start noticing that it's not the food you really want. It's that you want love. Call it whatever you want. It's all love. Call it comfort, unity, affection, connection, attention, excitement, joy, sex. It's all love. And growing up, we got love and food all mixed up badly. So now we're not connected to what we really love. We feel we need it, and we immediately, like, we'll feel like we need this love, and we immediately grab the food and convince ourselves that we're giving ourselves love. I can't let go of this food. Oh my God, if I let go of this food, right? What will happen? So we were showered with love with food. Think of your past memories around food. You as a child, you were looking for love, and what did you get? Food. And so what I do so well is guide people towards connecting to what their hearts really want. And when you fill your voids with what you really want, you don't desire the food anymore. How would it feel if your emotions around food change? How do you think your health and fitness would look like in a year from now? Right? That's what needs to change, is what's at the forefront. Now, there's definitely a process to it. That's a fact. Don't continue to think like I did for 18 years, looking for that elusive magic diet strategy. Remember, that's 95% of the population, right? That I would allow, like, I would hold on to my stories. My story was, I'll keep looking for a way to have the body I want, all while eating the same way I do right now, and holding on to those behaviors and that strong attachment to food. Can't do that. And the only reason why I ate that way is because I was filling big, deep voids with food. So of course, I didn't want to let go of the foods. I didn't even realize. I didn't realize that that was happening. When you do a mindset diet, you're working towards living the life you want and love. And you're giving yourself true love, not fake love with food. So you no longer need the food. It's the most rewarding and life-changing experience. That's why I call this food freedom. That's why I call it food freedom, because like what you truly want is what your heart wants. That's your true authentic self. And I guarantee you, your heart wants to see you thrive. Your heart does not want to sabotage your future. It's what the ego wants, right? The ego wants the food. Oh no, it is the food. It's living life if we have this food. It's not. It's not at all. And the food industry, don't even get me started with the food industry. They have taken something that is a necessity for us to live, because food is a necessity, and they've turned it into I don't know what. And then they're spending billions of dollars in the most cutting edge psychology you could ever freaking imagine to make certain food decisions for you. So when you hear the ksh of the pop, they know that ksh will send an emotional feeling, because remember, emotions is what you've got connected to the food, and they know you're going to go get the pop. They know how to do this, leading people towards buying foods that most of it is empty calories, no nutritional value, and trying to make you feel. And that's why when men or women that say, no, I'm living life because, and they don't even see that they're actually sounding like the commercials. I'm telling you, your authentic self wants to be 100 years old and thriving. Doesn't want illnesses, doesn't want diseases, doesn't want any of that. It wants to detach from the food and it wants to live its greatest life. But if you don't live your greatest life, you're going to keep filling that void with the food. We were not born loving foods. We're not born loving and being addicted to fizzy, fatty, high sugary, nutritious foods. You were taught that mindset to eat this way. You adopted your beliefs, your habits, your behavior around food while growing up. Your current fat loss or health issues are not something you inherited. Like what you inherited was the mindset around health and fitness. And that has led you down the same genetic path as your family or will. And overeating is no question an act of regression on trying to get good feelings through food. It's all about you going back to what the creamy and sugary and savory foods meant to us when we were little. When we were little looking for love. And it was like, here's the food. And we often want to get that feeling and memory back in the present because we're not feeling good in the present. And healthy foods, I want you to think about it, have bad memories attached to them, don't they? Right? I was forced to eat certain foods. So it was like, I remember like almost throwing up sometimes. And so we have good emotions towards the bad foods and bad emotions towards the healthy foods. But that was taught. That was all taught. You can unlearn that. I promise you, if you unlearn that, what do you think you could do? And again, like your mindset blocks, I hear all the time. Everyone in my family are heavy. Everyone in my family have illnesses. I can never lose the weight. You don't understand. Like my metabolic rate doesn't work right. I have a slow metabolism. Right? Diets don't work for me. I've heard it all. Did you know that your mind does exactly what it thinks you want it to do? Again, what are you holding at the forefront of your mind? Because if you, so imagine what you are doing to yourself when you are speaking words like, this food has my name all over it. I'm addicted to sugar. I could never get that healthy or fit. I'm stressed. I need to eat this. I need to treat myself. I deserve this. I hate my body. You are giving your mind direction that this is what you want. So ta-da, you get more of it. And we both know that is not what you want. It wasn't what I wanted. You want the opposite of all this. So in order to permanently change how you eat and how you look and your health, we must change our self-image. We must change our paradigms. It's so important for you to see that. You have to connect to the authenticity of who you are, right? And I always say, Kevin's daughters are vegan. It's who they are. They do not struggle to avoid bacon and meats. They don't fight themselves to not eat a beef burger. They are vegans. Therefore, it stops things from becoming about what they do and how they do it. And that's what you want for yourself. There was a time whereby I saw myself as a person that binge ate. I saw myself as, fluctuating with weight all the time. I was very critical of my body. I told myself I was addicted to all sorts of junk food. But today I see myself as someone that doesn't enjoy sugar. I don't. I used to be really addicted to it. I see myself as someone that enjoys the crisp taste of fruit over sugary, fake confectionery foods. Sugary, fake confectionery. Do you see the picture I'm bringing up in my mind? Ugh. I look at cake and I only see all the junk that would enter my body. I'm no longer the person that sees the cake and can't stop thinking about it. I'm the girl living my life based on what my heart wants. And I've detached my emotions to the food, and you all can do this. It's called mindset work. I've detached, and it's not hard. This is the easy way. I've detached myself from the food, and I've attached myself to what my heart wants. And I promise that when you do that, you will change your identity. And now I'm a person that nourishes her body with healthy food. Not because I'm depriving myself. Depriving myself is what I did before. Depriving myself from living a healthy life, depriving myself from enjoying being in my bikini, and depriving myself from living a healthy, awesome, prosperous life, feeling the emotions that I realize, oh my God, the reason why I feel this way has nothing to do with the food, is because I want more love in my life. I want more sex in my life. I want more freedom. I want to travel more. I want all these things. So then the food's like, what, the food? Yeah, I'm fueling myself. The people that are able to stay thin, they're not thinking about food the same way you are. Right? So I know I'm going over here and I could probably go, but just to finish off, look, no one ever goes to their deathbed and says, I wish I would have had one more cookie. I wish I would have eaten more junk food. No. I don't even remember what I ate yesterday. I don't remember what I've eaten in the past. I remember all the amazing moments, even the bad moments. Actually, the bad moments are actually the moments that I talk and laugh about, because without them, it wouldn't have shaped me. What you're going to regret is not having more meaningful experiences. What you're going to regret is not connecting to your heart and soul and figuring out what your purpose is. What you're going to regret is not having more sex. What you're going to regret is not traveling more. What you're going to regret is not living more exciting adventures. That is what you're all going to regret, not the cookies and the stuff. So do you see how we got to change how we think about food? And the moment you do, and that's why I call it the mindset diet. Like, think about it. If you let go of your attachment to food, you're about to experience what you truly want in life, that was hidden behind the food the whole time. So you're not addicted to things. You're not addicted to any of those things. You're just filling voids, and there's an emotion behind that void. There's an emotion behind the thing that you're addicted to that you're not living, you're not feeling. But I promise you, you think right now it's a bad thing. That's why you're filling it with these things. But the moment you connect to it, man, it's that there's your freedom. That's why I don't call this food freedom, because food freedom, whatever. Food and life freedom, living the life you want, that you desire. And that's all I want. So join us tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to have Susan Hum with us tomorrow. We call her the Love Guru. And she was there also when Kevin and I met. And so we thought it would be so awesome if she came and joined us tomorrow, because tomorrow is all about, you know, manifesting more love in your current relationship, or finding the love of your life. You're gonna and
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. We're gonna be talking about love tomorrow. I can't wait. This is gonna be one of my favorite days. I've been sitting here listening to you share, and I'm really excited about tomorrow. I mean, I was excited about today. I mean, today is not the really fun part, but it's the probably the most necessary part for those who weight and health are at the top of their goal list. So yeah, I was, just reading comments and trying to answer best I could. And I was, one of the ladies in here, I believe it was our winner today, Kersha, I think it was her, talking about chocolate. I think that was her. Anyway, somebody was talking about how they did not want to give up chocolate. And, so I figured I'd let you address that with her at another time.
giving up
Anyway,
chocolate.
tomorrow is
Yeah.
going to be the love day. Tomorrow's the love day. I'm so excited
Yeah.
to have Susan here. Susan actually, and she'll tell the story, but she basically had been talking with Natalie and picked up on some key things right out of the gate on Natalie's energy about relationships, and basically prepared her for us meeting, even though she didn't know it was about to happen.
Oh,
So I'd love to get
yeah.
into it, but we'll talk more about it tomorrow. It's going to be a good day tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be
Can't wait.
awesome. Really awesome. All right.
And I'm down in the basement, ladies and gentlemen. I'm down in the basement. I'm about to walk upstairs and give Natalie some love. Watch this.
What are you?
Don't you be hanging up on me. Just in case people don't know that I'm really here.
Too much.
We love you guys.
Bye.